What happens now to Charlie Hebdo? Last week, gunmen attacked the offices of the French satirical magazine. In this week's issue, the magazine is planning on making a bold statement. The Globe's Mark MacKinnon has been speaking to one of the surviving cartoonists. Hi, Mark.
Hi, FM.
What is the magazine going to do?
Willem, when I spoke to him on the phone, one of the surviving cartoonists, he was actually, very surprisingly, he was chuckling and laughing during our interview. He was obviously very pleased with what's shaping up there. Charlie Hebdo has always aimed for shocking content. I think we'll see something very defiant from them this week. One thing we do know, this came out just a few hours ago, is that the magazine will again print images of the Prophet Muhammad, which is what made them notorious in the Muslim world. And they're going to do so apparently in 16 different languages. What
did the cartoonist that you spoke to tell you about how some of the other magazine staff are coping?
He didn't want to speak too much for them, but the Charlie Hebdo is working right now out of the offices of the French newspaper Libération, and the Libération staff have only interacted with them, they said, very occasionally, because Charlie Hebdo is really working in their own environment. They've got a floor of the building in Libération, and the doors are closed to everyone other than ordering food, is what I was told. So it's very concentrated on the product. People are obviously shocked. Mr. Willem, when I spoke with him, he said that he, personally had missed being at the editorial meeting where his colleagues were killed only because he doesn't care about being late to staff meetings, basically. So had he been on time, he would have been in the room with everyone else, which obviously they've gone through a lot, but they're planning to emerge with a very defiant, to be Charlie Hebdo the way Charlie Hebdo has always been.
This magazine is getting a lot of attention from world leaders, religious leaders, and I'm wondering, how do the surviving cartoonists feel about all the attention the magazine is getting now?
Yeah, that's actually making them a little bit uncomfortable, because this is a newspaper, a magazine that has prided itself on smashing symbols and taking on whatever is sacred. And now they're almost being elevated to a sacred status right now. People are treating them as a symbol of liberty and of free expression, which is something they've never really sought to be. When I spoke with Willem, the cartoonist, he laughed at the idea that they had new friends like the Pope and the Queen Elizabeth. In another interview that he did with a Dutch newspaper, and he said that it made him want to vomit when people like the Queen, the Pope, he mentioned Russian President Vladimir Putin or Marine Le Pen, the head of the Front National here in France, were speaking out for Charlie Hebdo.
Incredible. Do they have enough staff to put out a magazine? Because the core of the magazine was struck down, wasn't it?
Absolutely. And from what I was told by Libération staff, again, Charlie Hebdo is very much in a secluded place right now. They've got about 20 or 30 people working up there on this edition. A lot of them, I understand, are former contributors, people who have worked with or for Charlie Hebdo in the past, who have come back and are putting their names and their efforts behind this edition of the paper.
I mean, what can we say about the long-term future of Charlie Hebdo? I mean, where's it going to get its money from?
That's tough to say. I mean, obviously, this is not the first time they've been forced out of their offices. They were firebombed in 2011 after they first printed images of the Prophet Muhammad. And right now, the media world is rallying around them. They're getting donations, donated space from Libération. Their computers have come from Le Monde. They're getting help out from other French media as well. Google has donated money. The Guardian newspaper in London, the fund, the trust fund that runs that organization, has given money. So I'm sure right now, everyone wants to see Charlie Hebdo survive, only as a retort to the people that were behind this attack and those who would support them. Long term, it's harder to see. They did lose many of their brightest lights. They lost their editor-in-chief, and it's difficult to predict where Charlie Hebdo will be in a few years.